Todd, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us at JOE.ie.
Thank you.
So after a $1.4 billion franchise, there's only one way to go. It's an even bigger pot this time of weaponry money. Was it a case of just taking time off after those incredibly good trilogy and just waiting for the right script? Was that a difficult process or something you enjoyed?
Well, no, you know, I actually found the story. It was based on this Rolling Stone article that I found in Rolling Stone when I was flying to Bangkok shooting Hangover 2. So it's something we've been developing for a while. It's a tricky movie because tonally it's a little bit different than the other films I've made. So it did take a little while, the scripting process.
Yeah, you said tonally it's different, but in narrative terms, it does seem to conform to a lot of your stuff. This guy is facing these crazy decisions, get over their head, and carnage ensues. That's obviously something you love to explore in your films, and this is kind of no different than War Dogs.
It's true, yeah. There is definitely a theme of guys making bad decisions, which leads to chaos, and then us basically documenting that chaos. Different than The Hangover. In The Hangover, that chaos brought them closer together, and in this movie, it ultimately pulls them apart. But you're right, there is definitely a line.
And you fought very hard for Jonah Hill, because I think you pitched it to him, was it 2 or 3 times, and you just desperately wanted to get him in the movie. Was it a case of this? I need to get him in because he's my guy. This is what I'm gonna hang it on.
Yeah, sometimes I get stubborn, and I just we wrote the movie for him in mind, and you get stubborn when you're a director and you just see the movie with that person only, and it's tough to kind of wrap your head around any other version.
Yeah.
So I kind of pressured him.
You described him, I think, in an interview. You said he's just an electric actor. He has this presence that he just kind of jumps off stage. I really enjoyed that kind of, you don't know which way he's going to go. He's incredibly charismatic and funny in one scene, and then the next he could be just completely gone a different tangent. Was it easy to draw that performance out of him?
I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, that would be a better question for him because you know, he does a lot of that work, and I think my job was more reminding him where we are in the story because, you know, obviously you don't shoot in order, so he had to shift those tones a lot of times from day to day. But he's just great at it. It
seems to kind of fit in with this kind of trend of kind of like films against the system, so to speak. You had like The Big Short, even Moneyball to a certain extent, and
or Money Monster.
Money Monster, exactly. Yeah. Is that something you were very conscious of when you went into, like, you know, the audience wants answers, kind of?
Well, you know, again, we started working on this movie years ago, but I do think it's a good time because I do think people, and maybe it's the internet or maybe it's just being more connected, is that people are starting to realize that the system is rigged, and there are a lot of movies that have come out, that are coming out, that have kind of addressed that. I think it's kind of timely.
The clever thing for me in this is that it wasn't pro-war, it's not right, wrong, it's pro-money. You know, this is that, and that was just the thing that was really hammered home. Is that something that you were really kind of stressing to get across?
Well, because ultimately it's not a gun movie. You know, I said before, these guys could have been selling potato chips to the government. They would, if the government wanted potato chips, they would have sold that. It was really just a way, they saw an angle and a loophole to take advantage of, and that's ultimately what it's about.
And going forward, I know this is a big departure for it, and it's fantastic, and I think people are going to say this is a real step forward. But is there anything in the pipeline? I know you're working with Bradley on a show about ISIS.
That's different. That's something we're just producing together. But as a director, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing next. But you know, I still love comedies. It's still my favorite kind of movies, favorite kind of movies to shoot, so I could see doing a comedy again.
I'm bringing it back to comedy. I know there's a script floating around for one of my favourites, Old School 2. I know lots of fans out there as well. Would that be something you might be tempted to dust off? Or?
You know, it's interesting. We were just talking about it recently. I don't know. I love the movie, obviously, the first one, and if we could get it right and if the actors were interested, I would take it very seriously.
Well, speaking as a huge fan, anyone that can make, you know, Frank the Tank Streak and Troop Town, he's always welcome back in the cinema. You know?
I agree.
So we'll obviously Todd excelling at the serious stuff and gifted at comedy, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and, you know, best of luck with War Dogs.
Thanks, man.
You're getting closer. Come on, man, go! You drove these through the triangle of death.